With today's news, not just on economic growth, of course, but crucially unemployment figures showing more than 2.5 million people out of work, including more than 1 million young people. And as I was saying, that is a record in terms of the previous counting methods that we had. They've now changed, of course, over the last 20 years or so, and that now stands, that young person, 16 to 24-year-old figure, is at a record high. So to discuss this, we have Amar Lodhia with us, who's Chief Executive of the Small Business Consultancy. We've spoken to him before about these issues, and we have Georgina Hay with us, an unemployed graduate from London. Great to have you with us. Welcome back. Welcome.
Thank you.
Georgina, I'll start with you first of all. When did you graduate?
In 2008.
And what's happened to you since then?
Since I graduated from my degree, I did a further year's postgraduate study, and then since then I've kind of been in and out of work.
And what kind of work are you looking at? What have you been doing, and what do you want to do?
I trained as a dancer, and been in and out of dance work, but now I'm looking to go into arts management.
And how tough is it?
Very tough.
I mean, what is your response rate in terms of letters and CVs and all the rest of it? And how many jobs are there for you to apply for?
There's quite a few jobs, but I think it's just the sheer volume of other people wanting those jobs as much as me. Since the end of my last dance contract, I've been spending all day, every day, on the internet, applying for jobs, reading different job bulletins, probably sent off about 100 applications and more, and there's just no response.
Any interviews at all?
A couple, but
okay.
In the future, so we'll see.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Amar, given your perspective on this, because you specialise in helping people, you know, find work and trying to sort things out. What is your perspective right now? How do you sense the state of the economy in terms of jobs, and certainly with young people?
Well, you know, Hugh, I was reading up on this earlier on today, and my organisation's been working with people like Georgina, and actually people with higher barriers to employment, people like the ex-drug addicts and ex-offenders and those people, you know. And I find actually that in a market like this, where businesses are not hiring, or actually they are hiring, but they don't have, you know, they deem that people don't have the right skills. We have to find creative solutions. And for us, it's been, why don't you set up your own business, create your own job in your own company? I've been did some work in schools over the last 6 months, helping young people to actually nurture entrepreneurial and employment skills from a very young age. So it's like an early intervention side. Someone like Georgina, obviously, you know, it's if you were coached from the age of 14 to take stepping stones towards your goals and SMART goals, meet your role models, have the incentives, have that stable environment that nurtures you to go and find that job or create your own job. It would have been, you know, your story might have been slightly different.
It's very daunting though, isn't it, for lots of young people? I mean, just in terms of saying, why don't you just go on, take a step, go and set up your own business. It's a very, very daunting prospect without proper support and without proper guidance.
Well, you know, 99% of the private sector is small business, which accounts for 25% of income. So actually there's people out there, especially in your rural areas, you know, where mobility is a lot lower. How do you get to work? Where are the jobs in those areas? We have the beauty of the internet now. There's organizations like internships.com that are actually promoting entrepreneurial work placements in startup businesses, so people can actually get feel. You know, we set up an initiative earlier this year called Breaking the Cycle with one of our corporate partners, and that allows one of our participants every 8 weeks to be placed in a job, in a sales team. And remember, some of these young people come from very disadvantaged backgrounds, and they can nurture the skills that they've been.
Experience.
It's great experience, and they get a chance to work with the CEO, the business development director, obviously a very small team. And Georgina, someone like Georgina would have benefited from that, maybe, you know?
I suppose one of the tricky things, Georgina, as well, is at what point do you have to think to yourself, maybe that dream I've got to kind of put to one side for the moment. I've got more pressing practical needs. I need to look for something that is more easily obtainable. That's a tough message as well to try and tackle.
It's hard to hear when people say, well, you could get a job anywhere. And I'm like, well, I know I could, but at the moment I'm lucky enough to be able to support myself in looking for work, and I'm lucky to have family and friends that are able to accommodate me at the moment, and I'm not ready to give up that dream just yet.
Do you feel you've got plenty of backup and support in order to make the right search?
I think so. I think maybe, like you said, from the age of 14, if I was coached in business skills, like I'm wanting to go into arts management, that would be useful to me now. Setting up my own business, that's not something I've considered before. So. Okay,
well, maybe that's a good outcome from the chat. So it's great to have you both in again. Thank you very much for popping in. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Amar and Georgina.